Okay, 5 more questions. The first one, how many rational numbers are between 1 and 9? And it's a pretty straightforward question and easy to answer if you know what a rational number is. And of course, real numbers, are composed of rational or irrational numbers. And a rational number is simply the ratio of two integers. Integers are counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And of course, their opposites, which are negatives the other way, and 0. And therefore, to construct a ratio, it's basically just a fraction. So if you can make a number into a fraction, you have a rational number. So for example, 3 is a rational number because it's 3 over 1. 1/2 is rational because it's 1 divided by 2. 0.3 is also rational because you could express it as 3 over 10. And you could take repeating numbers such as 0.22 repeating, which could be turned into 2/9. And as you can see, there are countless ways to express, there are countless numbers actually that exist that are rational. So the answer, obviously it's not 0 because I showed an example, and it's not 3 because 2, 3, 4, 5, there's plenty of integers between 1 and 9, as well as 4. And it's not 8 because, as I've shown you, any fraction can also be rational. So let's just take a couple examples. Between 1 and 2 even, we could have 3/2, which is 1.5. We could have 31 over 20, which is a little more than 3/2. We could have 311 over 200. And all these numbers are progressively getting a little bit bigger than 1.5. And we could go on and on and on and have infinitely many numbers that are rational between 1 and 9. E. So what is the distance between -3, -4, and the origin? And this is a good coordinate geometry distance formula or Pythagorean theorem question. Let's quickly sketch this. And it's important that you know what the origin is. The origin, of course, is 0, 0. And -3, -4 is about over here. -3, -4. And we want to find what this distance is. And there's two approaches. We could just use the distance formula, which is distance equals the square root of x of 1 minus x of 2 squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 squared. And we simply fill in the coordinates and we'll get our answer. But another way would be, since we've already drawn this sketch, we can actually construct a right triangle and use Pythagorean theorem. So let's do that. Let's draw a vertical line from here to the x-axis. And of course, this would be -3, 0. And what is the distance between -3, 0 and 0? It's 3 units. And +3. There's no such thing as a -3 distance. It's +3. And what's the distance from here, or the length, from -3, 0 to -4? It's 4 units. And we use the Pythagorean theorem, which says for a right triangle, the leg squared, this squared plus that squared, is equal to the hypotenuse squared. And we quickly, let's look at our answers. By the way, -7 can't be an answer because you can't have distance negative. -4 can't be distance negative. This is 3 units that way, 4 units. But let's figure this out. This is 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. So this is 9 plus 16 is 25 equals x squared. Therefore, the hypotenuse is 5, which is also the distance from this coordinate to the origin, which is answer D. You may see this sort of question on a standardized test. It's dealing with the Vinculum bar. I didn't explain what it is in the question, but I'll do that right now. This is called a Vinculum bar. It's over these numbers, and it's a way of showing that something is repeating. For example, this one is 1.37, 37, 37, etc. It keeps repeating because the bar is over the 3 and the 7. And knowing that, let's take a look at this 1.4. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 1.4 we're going to add a bunch of zeros, continuing like that, and try to figure out what the pattern is to see if we can come up with a solution on the left side. So let's see what happens. If we take 0 divided by, 0 minus 7 is 3, but we're borrowing. So really what's going to happen is these are going to be 2, because this is changed to a 9 and 6. This is changed to a 9 and 2, and 6 and 2. And ultimately we come out with 0, such as this. So if you take a look at the answer just by the pattern, because this zeros go on forever, and this 3, 7, 3, 7 goes on forever, you're going to have a pattern of 2, 6, 2, 6, 2, 6 forever. So let's take a look at our answers. The answer actually is A. We could have discounted the other ones. For example, this is 0.3333, repeating. That's not right. This is 0.062222, repeating. That's not correct. This is 0.30303, not correct. And this one's close, just the numbers are reversed. This is 0.062626262, and that is incorrect. Again, our answer is A, 0.026, repeating. Now we have a geometry clock question. At 5 o'clock, what is the angle formed by the hands of a clock? So let's quickly draw a sketch. For those of you living in the digital age, you may not be as familiar, but 5 o'clock, this is the 12, and 5 is down here, 6 is below, and that's about what it would look like. And we want to find out what is this angle. And really what the question becomes is, what part of this whole circle are we carving out? For example, the whole circle is 360 degrees. So we need to figure out what portion of the 360 are we getting, and how much of it are we taking out? Well, if there's 12 spots around the circle, we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them out of the entire 12. So if we set up this simple ratio, we just have to fill in what portion of that will be our angle. And using simple proportions and ratios, we see that this is 1/20th, 1/30th of this. Therefore, for every hour between 12 and 1, it's 30 degrees. And if we go around 12 times, we have a total of 360. Therefore, if we do 5 of these, 30 degrees, 30 degrees, etc., we end up with 150 degrees. And therefore, our answer is C. If 6a, 6 to the a, equals 1, then 6a plus 1 equals one of these 5 choices. And really, it just comes down to one question. What is 6 to the a equals 1? And if you recall, any exponent that's 0 is equal to 1. For example, 3 to the 0 equals 1, 10 to the 0 equals 1. Therefore, if 6 to the something equals 1, it has to be a 0. Therefore, since a is equal to 0, we simply plug that into the second part of this question, which is 6 times a plus 1. And as we know, 6 times 0 plus 1 is simply 1. And our answer, therefore, is B, 1.